This is my September, almost October tour of where I'm working in the garden. This is my iris garden. So you can see normally I put people anywhere out here to do photos through when the irises are blooming. But right now everything is kind of sad because I got to pull weeds and dead leaves, and I need to remove some more stumps. Like those stumps way over there are getting pulled out. This brush pile's got to go away. Let's take a look here. Stump, 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 stump. More work to do. That tree goes away. That tree goes away. That tree goes away. Just work, work, work to do. Oh yeah, that stump probably gonna come out. But here's the iris garden, which is put together for my photography venue. So when there's not weeds and when this blooms, it's kind of cool. So you can photograph through like this, people out in here somewhere in the nice iris. And as you can see right over here, here's one of the boxes I got from David Toth. And here's some more irises from David in the ground. More to go. When they're done, it's probably going to go out along here, out there. The iris garden's going to go through there, connect back here. And where that brush pile is up there, it's going to go on up and connect up through that brush pile up there. So then when you're down in here, just going to look at irises to the little horizon in a forest, which would be cool. Okay, so that's that vision. If you don't have vision, you're just looking at a big wall of sticks and weeds, because that's kind of what I have. Okay, here's our driveway. Here's our fun little 1970s single wide manufactured home, which is getting better. We put a new roof on it and painted it and remodeled in it. So here's our driveway. So when we bought, like how you can see through here now, you couldn't see more than maybe 10, 15 feet in any direction because it was so thick in here. But now it's coming. Oh yeah, and we're leaving all the dogwoods. There's dogwoods out here. These really cool dogwood trees. I like the dogwoods. So dogwoods are staying. Big leaf maples are staying. A lot of the oaks are staying. All my big trees, and see here's some of my big trees. And we've limbed them way the hell up there because the Caldor fire, we got evacuated and it burned. You can kind of see through the trees here. See the ridge right up there? Caldor fire burned just on the other side of that ridge. So it was coming. See, this is looking south, so it was coming up at us like this. It stopped right on the other side of that ridge. So we've been thinning out for 7 years. I'm probably gonna be thinning for another 7 more. Okay, so our waterfall is down the road that way. But I'll do that in another little video. Let's go see where our rose garden's gonna go. I've got a separate location where I'm planting roses and bushes and the rose and stuff and making it look a little bit more formal. But out here, it's gonna look kind of like somebody had a cottage garden years and years ago. And the cottage is gone, the people are gone, but there remains a rose garden out in the woods. And that's kind of what I'm gonna be going for here. So we've thinned out most of the medium-sized trees through here. We've left, again, all the big trees, although some more stuff is coming out. Because we have to get, like here, where there's some space. So I need to pick trees to take out. So we end up with some space like that. It's probably coming out. Big ones staying, so then a couple of these little ones are coming out. So that's gonna happen. So here, it's kind of thin, but we gotta thin a lot more through here. So if a fire comes, it'll just roll across the ground. Not too intense, not damage the big trees. Hopefully most of the bushes will burn but survive, come back. So here's the location. I need to finish taking out all this little stuff, but I want to pick through it before, so I'm not just going to masticate it. Because here's the thing, we've got hazelnut bushes along with more dogwoods growing through here, so I don't want to take them out, but I need to take out all these little fir trees and stuff, and of course the stumps. And then we have, oh, here's a cool one. So these are little woodland starflower. These have real pretty flowers in the spring, the white flowers. This here is gonna stay. This is a Pacific yew. Leaving all the yew trees because, well, they're kind of locally rare. There's a few of them out here, but see out in here where we thinned and left the dogwood, so they're starting to get to a point where you end up with like this bank of dogwoods underneath as an understory with what's going to be forest here, which needs to get limbed up and thinned still a little bit more. But so this will be the backdrop. So we're going to have big trees with dogwoods all the way around. So dogwoods, and some of the yew trees, and then a lot of this is going to go away. And actually, if you want to see, this is what the property looked like when we bought it. This is what you looked at everywhere you walked. You couldn't even walk through it when we bought. But now it's getting open. So you can actually walk through it now. Start to do some things. We gotta drop, probably, that tree's probably gonna go away. And that one probably go. And we gotta figure out, we also have to get some more light in here too. A couple more of these trees are going to go so we get a little bit more light, although it's kind of early in the morning. By the afternoon this is getting fairly nice light. We actually still have a fair amount of light comes in here, but more light better. And oh, this is kind of cool. These are actually wild roses that grow here. There's some hips. So these just grow wild. I've been leaving the wild roses because, well, here's one. They're kind of losing their leaves because it's fall, but these are just scattered about in here. All this little stuff has got to go away. So this will be one of our areas of the rose garden, minus most of the stuff here. So the iris garden is up over the little hill here. So from here, with all this little stuff gone, filled in with some different rose bushes, kind of putting different kind of undulating rows and trying to make it look natural, and some on their own and clumps. And that, be able to come out here, people can walk along, have rose bushes kind of in the foreground down here, there, and then look at just woods, roses and dogwoods and roses. So maybe some climbers out in a couple of these little areas out on the sides. Roses and roses, of course, not ugly wood piles and tarps. So this is our work in progress. People have no vision. Oh, hey, look, here we go. Bear poop. I don't know what the heck he ate. Whatever, I ain't touching it. Okay, so all this is cleaned up. This is gonna be our woodland rose garden, and probably mixing some other annual flowers to come up in with it too. All through here, all the way around here, which will be pretty cool. And I just gotta figure out which of these extra trees. And of course, this one here, this one's a cool tree right there. That one's a sugar pine that's got the huge pine cones. That one's gonna stay. And probably, like, it's got all those dead branches on the bottom. I'll get those taken off and cleaned up. So take it up towards live stuff. Not just for aesthetics, but for fire too, because you gotta thin and limb them up. So when fire comes, I'm gonna lose everything. And here's a nice, this one, that one is Corcalogii. That one's a nice black oak. It's native here too. Everything here, for the most part, is all native. Let's get that. Let's go over here. So when I do this, I'm probably going to cut a path from the iris garden up there, kind of meandering around, which will then come through here into the rose garden, which, well, a pretty cool, pretty rose garden. Let's take a look at the other road here. So yeah, so like this right here, that is about what the entire property looked like when we bought it. Just wall of branches. You couldn't really walk through without losing your eyeballs. And so, work in progress. So these right here, we have mixed in the woods. Some little ones, but some bigger ones. This is our big leaf maple. These are about to turn color. There's more dogwoods. Oh, this tree right here, I love these trees. This tree here. Let's see if we can get up to where you can actually see it. And up there, the branches are smooth and kind of orangish. That's a madrone. That's a pretty tree. We've got some, these ones are staying, obviously. This right here is actually an incense cedar, but I mean, these things are big. They look a lot like redwood. So thinned up and cleaned up around a little bit, the base, limbed up. These are gonna be nice looking. I mean, see how big these trees are. Like here's this tree here, let's go. This is a pretty big tree. This is about the middle of our property here. So this is the right of way that comes through our property and comes through and zips out here. It goes west east. And here's the other side of our property, which I haven't really even touched yet. At some point, I'm going to start working on it for defensible space and fire reduction. But property actually goes all the way up the hill up here and over there, and there's a really nice view up there, but you break your neck trying to get there most of the time, seems like. Here's one of our creeks down here. So the other couple years ago we had a bad storm, so it brought down a bunch of trees. So get those, but there's a creek that runs through here, which I haven't cleaned up yet. Oh, here we go, wild strawberries. These things are kind of cool. Just all over, and here's our dogwood again. Little fruits. Should probably grab some of these and try to propagate them. They got fruit all over them. Look at those. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let's go back up our driveway. Oh my gosh, this driveway. $25,000 to pave this driveway, 700 feet long. That was the most money I've ever tossed on the ground at any point in my life. Right there. Should have just left it gravel. But, well, for $25,000 you can have some asphalt. Would have rather have invested that in some rose bushes. Okay, so here we go. Dead junk. Area where the roses are gonna go eventually out there. Irish garden up there. And I'm winded because we're at 4,000 feet and I'm fat. So you see all this stuff down over here. This is our working on defensible space, so we're taking and thinning trees. So that's what it looks like. It's cleaned and thinned. And then actually this tree right here, this little one, this can come out. And that, she'll finish opening this up and clean this up. That's iris. Roses go over there in that opening. And my friend Kate has been coming here milling wood off of trees to make some raised beds for his wife, which is nice. Don't tell my other half because he'll want some. Okay. We're heading down to the clearing and the waterfall over here. So it's hard to see right now, but we got all this down stuff where we've been thinning. Just as soon as you clean up, you drop another tree, you make another mess. So you can see up that way where it's a little bit more open and thin, where we're working on it, and less so. And of course, if you see trees like this, they're either coming out or gonna get limbed up. But like this little scrungy tree, it's getting taken out. That little scrungy one's getting taken out. What's these little things getting taken out so we can keep the big ones. And when the fire eventually does come, hopefully our big trees will make it. A bunch of our neighbors just to the south of us lost, because it was too crowded. The fire burned a little too hot. They didn't just lose their stuff on the ground, they lost all their big trees. So now they're just, looks like a moonscape with a bunch of burnt matchsticks sticking out of the ground. Nobody over there is going to have big trees again on their properties in their lifetime. It's really sad. Okay, so we got dogwoods, some really big trees in here. Yeah, tree deserves a hug. Oh. Okay, so this is a little area where some people occasionally come down and have little elopement ceremonies down here, or little weddings. You can fit about 30 people down here. But of course there's trash cans, some stuff in the way, but like that. That is a big leaf maple. It grows over here. And it's half lost its leaves right now, but that gets dressed up. It's real pretty. People hang little bells, little whatevers off of it, little origami. Stand over there, get married. Everyone else can stand out here, or some log rounds or some benches, and sit all the way down here, which is kind of cool. The nice thing about it is we're down in the woods. I mean, this is deep in the woods. We're underneath this canopy of dogwood trees and fir and some cedar. This tree here is huge. I love this tree. This tree's... See, the thing is, if I don't thin around this tree, take out some of this little stuff like this, some of this littler stuff around it, clean it up, and maybe take out some of these skinnier ones that are over here that are kind of touching it. If I don't thin this out, when fire comes, that tree's going to go away. And I really don't want to lose this. This tree has got to be at least 200 years old. There's sisters over there. So, some little stairs I made. Okay, so this is on our property here. A quarter of our property's up in the woods out there somewhere. But I've managed to thin and clean it. Not really take out plants, but like just dead stuff. Mostly took out dead stuff all through here, because it is full of like dead down trees and whatever else that was down here. And cleaned a lot of that out. And now we've got this clean area to do photos. This is a fun little area. And this is going towards our waterfall. So in early spring, after it rains, we'll be able to burn up a bunch of these piles of stuff to burn. Unless somebody wants to take a bunch of maple wood for their smoker, but can't give wood away down here. So here's our creek. And a little reflection pool above the waterfall, which is actually really fun to photograph on. Well, the other winter, which of stuff washed down here. This is why you clean up dead stuff around the creek, otherwise it ends up in the creek. And all this stuff washed down. Luckily it's down there. Doesn't impact me doing photos, but it's here. So, but here's our waterfall. A lot of photos on. Usually go and stand out about there. Photograph this way. So then it's waterfall with the creek all in the background. This is a really pretty dogwood tree that's over it in the spring. There's actually two species of dogwood here. This one's got this is the Cornus Natalii, which has got the really big flowers. Here's another one, which has little teeny flowers. Got Indian rhubarb. We got our bracken ferns and other ferns down here. Really just kind of make this kind of nice. So a little bit more cleaning down here. Oh yeah, so this was a gold rush area back in the day, about 150, 70 years ago, somewhere in that range. And there was a few plants brought in. Through the woods over there, there's a tree. Well, it's really kind of hard to see, but back there, it goes from there up to there. There's a couple of probably 70 foot tall, 65, 75 foot, somewhere in that range, cherry trees. They're down in here along the edge of the creek. And there's a flat little pad over here. The flat area next to all the cherry trees. Probably somebody's little mining claim at some point. But we finished cutting around and cutting a little trail through here, a little path to get over to it. We're gonna thin out the dead stuff and the junky stuff, leave the cherry trees, leave all the ferns. Over there is gonna be our Japanese garden, Japanese shade garden. This already has 100-odd-year-old cherry trees. And it's got really nice ferns. It's got some yew trees, all hidden back in there. So all I gotta do is add just a little bit of stuff, maybe some rhododendrons, and a few other things, and put it together just right. And we'll have Japanese garden up there. And oh, this one's an alder. A lot of people like grabbing these for milling because you can, I mean, they have these really nice wood and straight trunks. Even if they're leaning, the trunk stays straight, which is kind of weird. Most trees will, if they start to lean, they'll curve. Like this one here is fir. You can kind of see it started to lean at some point, but you can see how it just kind of goes and gently curves. Not as desirable for milling wood, but it's what the trees do. Whereas those guys tend to stay straight. Oh, and if you're into burls, I'll show you the biggest maple burl. Oh, yeah. So up in underneath all this little growth here, one big burl. Base of this is one of the big leaf maples. It's staying. It's pretty. Here's our creek. This little one's another one of the native yew trees that we have. And the dogwoods. So this is some of the photo areas I'm using. Kind of very messy. Pandemic, evacuation for fire, trying to finish 2 remodels at once. I haven't really cleaned up like I should, but this one's pretty because people kind of hop over to that side there. And then you have this really pretty spot to do portraits with a reflection right there. It's a fairy tale little spot. All of it really is. Okay, well, this has been a walkabout of property here. A preview of some of the stuff that's happening, some of the stuff that's to come. And I'm sorry if you have no imagination, whoever's watching this video, and you're just seeing a pile of sticks. But some people see more than a pile of sticks when they walk through the woods.